Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Emerging Brands Podcast with Kelly Bennett. I have two co founders on today who I know you've been following them online, you've been eating their pickles. And I have to say, after doing so many teasers of who's going to be on my podcast, this this episode was the most anticipated. So, the co-founders of Good Girl Snacks are here. And I'm so stoked to have you both on. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, really excited.
Thank you
Hi,
for
thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
You're so welcome. So, your pickle company, it went viral. I've been following along pretty much from the beginning on social because I've been building brands for about 15 years now. And it real, especially in the year 2023, 2024, like to go viral specifically on Instagram and to cut through the noise is such a challenge, and you both have done such an incredible job doing that. So I just want to start off with saying, like,
Thank you.
incredible work. Seriously, like, love it. And so the whole concept of this podcast is kind of like talk and shop of the behind the scenes of that. So who wants to kick off like the brand story of how Good Girl Snacks started?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
Leah and I are best friends. We met right before going to college. We both went to USC. And after we graduated, just worked separate jobs, worked in different industries. Leah was working in tech. I was working in the art industry. And we were both, I think, itching for something new a year into those new jobs and always sending each other food TikToks. We're both Middle Eastern, so food is something that has bonded us since we've met. And we're always sharing recipes and trends and any of that. And we noticed this trend of pickles that was going around, and everyone was kind of, recreating all these trends of wrapping them in cheese, putting like chamoy on them. And then there was that sweatshirt that went viral with all the pickle jars. And soon enough, we kind of realized that there was something happening there and that there was this huge community of pickle lovers that existed on the internet and that we were definitely part of. Yet when we looked at the brands that were existing in the market, we didn't feel like any of them really catered to this community that was predominantly female and Gen Z. And so it kind of started off as a joke of us just kind of being like, what if we started our own pickle company? And we called it Hot Girl Pickles, which is an ode to the hot girl walk. The hot girls have stomach problems, like this whole hot girl
Right.
trend that was going viral. And it started off as a joke and us kind of just imagining all these crazy photo shoots we'd have and what kind of flavors we'd have. And we're thinking, oh my God, we'd have like a hot honey harissa flavor and one that has turmeric and like infuse them with Middle Eastern spices and make them super interesting and different. And then we kind of took a step back and started thinking about it in a more serious way. And we were both like, what if we actually are onto something? Because no one is doing that. No one is innovating with flavors. No one has packaging that stands out. No one has like crazy, funny marketing. And let's be real with pickles, there's just the possibilities are endless. There's so many innuendos, so many
Right.
funny ways of marketing the product, and yet no one was doing it. And so we basically took a leap of faith. And after kind of asking around people in the industry and kind of testing the waters to see if we were crazy or not, or if we actually were onto something, we realized that, we just should go for it and see what comes out of it. And that's how Good Girl Snacks was born, I think around June of 2023. And
Incredible. So,
yeah,
oh, just about a year old.
yeah,
And we launched
Wow.
9 months after starting the company. We were able to launch February 2024, and then we sold out May 2024, and we were sold out for 2 months. And now we just did a new formula. We're about to enter retail. We're kind of entering like a new era of Good Girl Snacks. We got our proof of concept. And we've gone viral. We've gotten social media attention. So it's crazy how quickly all of that happened. Like Yasaman and I text.
Just the timeline that you just said, I'm like, damn, that
Yeah,
quickly took
yeah.
off.
It's really crazy. And Yasaman and I literally just texted each other yesterday and we were like, it's so random that we started a pickle company and now we're just in so deep. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're having so much fun with it and it's a really good product and we're really excited about what the future holds. So
So cool. I personally was on that pre-sale list when you had your first
yay.
batch, and I thought it was really good. And I was saying before I hit record was that every single time I'm in Pop Up Grocer now, people are asking like, "Do you guys have Hot Girl Pickles? Like, do you carry Good Girl Snacks? Are they back in stock?" Like literally, and I go there a lot. And every single time I'm in there, I hear someone say that, and so I'm really excited for the second batch. On a personal note.
Mhm.
So you had this concept, you're like, "But wait, this actually let's just do it." What helped you both take that leap of faith, right? Because it's really scary, it's really daunting. You saw the market opportunity, but I would love to hear just a bit more of the mindset of like what made you say yes to actually hitting go and being like, we're gonna do this.
I think a big part of it was having each other. Like, I think if we were doing it alone, we wouldn't have done it. But the fact that like I was reassuring Yasaman, Yasaman was reassuring me, we were both having conversations where like, I trust you to take over this part of the business, and I trust you to take over this part of the business. And together we make such a good team that this good idea can actually come to fruition. Um, and that's what happened. I think taking the leap is the hardest part of starting a company. So having research also that supports your idea is really helpful. Like we did a ton of research, we did surveys, we looked at numbers. I think there was 9 billion views on the hashtag pickle and pickles combined on TikTok. So we had a lot of like data to support the idea as well. And then we also just told ourselves we're so young. If we don't do this now, like when are we gonna ever
Yeah.
start a pickle company?
Right.
Um, so
I
yeah.
think another part of it was that it was such a current trend and there was such a big wave that was happening right now. And we were like, okay, this is now or never. Like, we either do this now and we launch ASAP or someone else will do it. And I think that kind of put a fire under our ass to really like get this going and to just like push it out into the universe as quickly as possible because had so much faith in the product and in the brand and the idea that we had that we just wanted to be the first ones to do that.
So great. And so what was the initial strategy of getting that buzz? I mean, again, you both have done such a great job with this, but I would love to hear what was the strategy, the mindset, the thought process, your point of view of creating that initial buzz around the brand?
I think so. I have a marketing background and I kind of just knew like we have to post every single day. So we kind of mixed two things together to go viral. One was posting every single day and kind of building in public. We started posting October
Mhm.
1st and we launched in February. So people saw us build until we launched, which I think is pretty rare, especially in this industry. Also we
Yes.
had a hook that was like really entertaining for people, which is like, we're two best friends in our early 20s and we just quit our jobs to start a pickle company. People are like, what is going on? And so they had a
Right.
lot of fun following that along. But then we also paired the behind the scenes and daily video content with our brand aesthetic and these really crazy provocative photos that were then posted on Instagram, which also went viral. We have like a birthday cake that has pickle candles in it and it has so many likes because people were like, what is going on? This is so weird. There was photos of girls kind of suggesting something while
Yeah,
eating
yeah, yeah.
a pickle, like, and I think that branding paired with the authenticity and the short form content really just like made the brand explode. And we always say like I think having a different perspective on the food and beverage industry, as in like we didn't have any experience. We kind of we didn't have any experience in the food and beverage industry. We kind of like entered the space with a different lens. And so we weren't afraid to like post those provocative photos. We weren't afraid to do the behind the scenes because we were kind of treating it like a lifestyle brand. And I think that was really refreshing for people to see in the food and beverage industry. People love seeing who's behind a brand. And I think it just kind of hit, which was really nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think us both being Gen Z and having a pretty strong understanding of what our community wants really helped us out because we knew that for ourselves, we value authenticity in creators and in brands, and we value transparency. And we knew that was something that is important to Gen Z and to this future generation of consumers. And so that's something that we definitely wanted to highlight through our content.
Yeah, and also we were like so knees deep in like search engine optimization and keywords and hashtags that like we found kind of a weird mathematical equation for how to make each video successful on top of the content itself, which was really helpful, specifically on Reels for some reason. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the scientific approach almost of trial
Yes.
and error, posting, seeing what works. If it doesn't work, okay, you try something else the next time, see how that does. And then once you nail it, you just kind of try and be consistent with that.
I
Yeah.
think that's a really great point of doing your research, seeing what people are talking about, adding to that conversation, but also adding your own point of view so that your hook and Leah, I think you do a really great job at that of like your hooks are so consistent and you just have a really great presence because primarily you lead content, right?
Yeah.
You just have a really great way of connecting and storytelling, which again, as a nerd for brands and building and content, it's something that really stood out to me. So you said you had a marketing background, but what helped you find your own voice also? Because I think you've done a really great job. You both have, but I know primarily you are leading content to find your own perspective and your own cadence with it.
I think Yasmin and I like talked through every single hook together. And we were like approaching hooks as though we were speaking to our friends.
Right.
But at the same time, every time we post a video, I ask myself, would that make me want to watch the video? And if the answer is no, then I switch the hook or we make like an error on purpose. Or we make a typo, we skip a number, something like that, that'll make someone comment or make them continue watching, being like, oh, did I miss that? Or, oh, what does that word say? Why is it misspelled? So all of those things together make people watch the video, I think. But yeah, like Yasaman mentioned, finding the right hook and the right language is a trial and error. Like we tried for 2 months, 3 months even before people started watching our videos and following us, and we had to switch wording a little bit, changing the length of the hook, adding day one, part one, whatever, and just testing the waters just to see what works and resonates with people. So
And I
I think,
think,
oh, sorry, what were you going to
sorry,
say?
I just wanted to add on
Yeah.
also, I feel like there's such a specific way of talking that grabs people's attention. And I know in the beginning, Leah and I were filming and we both have pretty monotone voices. I
yeah.
feel like we're not very like reactive or very like, I don't know, we don't really show our excitement too much when we speak. And we sounded so boring at the beginning. And we were like, we sound like we hate our lives. Why do we sound like that? And then Leia specifically was literally studying the way that people speak. Like, for example, Alex Earl, Hallie, like all those creators that do so well on social media. Why do they grab people's attention so well? And it's because they have a way of speaking and they have a specific intonation, a way of saying things, a way of looking at the camera, of like moving their hands. And that they all work together to grab people's attention. And I think once we kind of started studying that and paying more attention to that and kind of trying to recreate that into our videos in a way that still felt natural and still felt authentic to us, we noticed that, we got a little bit more success from doing that.
And Yasmin, you brought up a really great point of studying other people who do it really well, like
Yeah,
pros, but also finding your own authentic voice of what feels true to both of you and your brand. So it doesn't feel like you're copying someone. You're
exactly.
understanding what works, but how does that look from your own point of view?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
exactly.
Another thing that you brought up that I know I'm just thinking, I'm thinking of my clients right now too, that what questions they would want to ask you both. So you said that you started posting in October and that you then launched, was it pre-sales in February?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
And after
pre-orders.
pre-orders. And so at first you said that it was, you were posting, but it wasn't necessarily doing the thing that you wanted it to do, right? Like getting engagement. So it sounded like through trial and error, it was finding that cadence, giving yourself enough runway to build that excitement. And so when then you said, okay, now you could place your pre-orders, we have something that we could actually sell to market now. Um, how did you think about going into that phase? Like that was like the next big chapter, right? Of like, now you have the engagement, you have eyeballs, you have excitement. How did then you approach that first pre-order?
Um, I think, okay, so first of all, we got really lucky. We went viral right before pre-orders. Like we
Okay.
were always gonna pre-order or put our pre-orders on in February. That was just always gonna happen. But we posted a series where we were talking people through our branding, and those went viral. We got like 10,000 followers in 5 days. It was crazy. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was honestly such a rush. Like we were freaking out. Especially because it was right before our pre-orders. But yeah, we always meant to do a pre-order. One, because obviously it creates hype, but two, because we wanted to prepare ourselves for turning on a second production in case we sold a lot during the pre-order. So it was kind of giving us more of a buffer time for the next production. Of course, that didn't really go in our favor because we had a bunch of issues with production and whatever, but that was kind of the initial plan.
Well, you both did a really great job also sharing the stories of the pre-orders, going into some specialty retailers, and then figuring out the next run. And that's now the newest chapter, right? Of like, okay, we did the damn thing. We got it out the door. Like that is the hardest part. You now have proof of concept. You have a great following that's growing. Walk me through now this new phase of you're getting into retail, you have a new formulation. I would love to hear more of that.
Yeah, so after launching, I think we took these few months to just really gather as much feedback as we could. And we loved the initial recipe, but of course, we wanted it to be something that was mass appealing. And so, we literally asked every single person who tried them, what are your thoughts? Be honest. What do you want to see different? What changes would you want? And we even ran a survey asking people those questions. And we edited the formula, tried it again, made more tweaks, tried it again, and then finally came to, in our opinion, the most perfect pickle formula ever. We might tweak it again in the future, who knows? I feel like in this industry, you're always making small adjustments. Um, but it was really important for us to nail the recipe. And only once we did that were we comfortable being like, okay, now that we have this product that's in our eyes close to perfect, can we go into retailers and approach the big stores and kind of enter that new era of the business? And so that's kind of the stage that we're in now. We're reaching out to retailers and trying to see like where should we start. Hopefully, we'll be in a couple of stores in LA or in California before the end of the year. That's kind of the goal. And then kind of using 2025 to really expand the brand and, you know, have people be able to walk into a store and do their groceries and grab one of our jars as they do. And I think as much as we love e-commerce and the e-com model, it's just, I don't think it's super sustainable for food. I think it's a great way to have people from all over try your product, but there's only so many times that you're going to be ordering a product online. You might order it once, twice, three times, maybe four times, but after a while, you're just going to wait until it gets into a store near you and you're just going to buy the product along with the rest of your groceries. And so for us, the e-com model was more so just to get proof of concept. And now I think we're mostly going to be honing in on retail.
I really respect that approach because so many founders rush to retail and they don't have all their ducks in a row because it's a whole other
Yeah.
business
It's a
that
it's a beast of
it's
like
a
it's honestly very intimidating. We're scared.
So let me hear a little bit more of like, what do you feel is your best maybe strategy or how you're looking at retail as because I know you were in some specialty retailers, anything that you would maybe say like, okay, we're going to hone in on this type of retailer or anything that you're excited about?
I think we're focusing regionally in LA slash like the larger California area, like Yasaman mentioned, because we know that we have a large community here and we're
Right.
here, like we're based here, so it's easy to activate around here. So one strategy we're looking at, for example, is just running a ton of like little pop-ups, college campus activations, because if they see us on their college campus or they see us popping up at X store, and then they walk into a store and they see us on the shelf, then it's like a 3 point, oh, I saw that there, I saw that here. Okay, now I'm gonna try it. So that's a strategy we're doing. And then once we launch, I don't know, in New York or Miami, whatever it is, in the Midwest, Texas, whatever, then we'll do the kind of the same thing. But attacking one part of the US at a time, just so we're not like launching nationwide right away, I think is kind of the idea. And we still want to control, who is grabbing our product. So we have more of an understanding of data and like who the person is that's grabbing the product off the shelf versus like if we're everywhere in the US, we have no idea who's going to be buying, if they like it, if they don't like it, is it moms, is it younger, that
Yeah.
whole
No, that's a
And I
great point.
Yeah, and I think the challenge with that also as we enter this new era is to just push people into stores while still remaining authentic and having that transparency that we've had from the beginning. Because obviously, when you're sending people over to your website, I don't know, it feels a little bit more like personal than, having people go to like Whole Foods or Erewhon or Sprouts or whatever the store might be. And so I think for us, it's going to be about finding that balance and finding the right voice and the right way of communicating that with our community.
That's a really great point too, because when you're bringing someone to your own website, it's like your home online, right? Like
Exactly.
you get to curate all the little things. And something that I really love about your website too is like all the little icons and the hover. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. Like I really appreciate little things like that. So okay, when this is just a personal question, maybe you don't have the answer yet, but for New York, when do you think the new formulation will be my side of the coast?
Hopefully
Soon-ish?
soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really genuinely
I
excited
think
to
in a
try it.
few weeks we'll be in one particular,
Okay,
um, but it'll still be kind of like the mom and pop, like smaller retailers. Not anything big yet in New York. We're
amazing.
getting there.
We'll take it. We'll take it. What is the vision for Good Girl Snacks? I mean, you have one clear hero product that you launch with gangbusters, like such a great job. I would love to hear of just the vision of the brand.
So I think the overall vision was to not just be a pickle company, but to be more than that. And that came through in the choices that we made for names, for example. We didn't call the brand Hot Girl Pickles. We called it Good Girl Snacks because I think from the beginning we envisioned a larger range of products across different categories, which all work to awaken sleepy aisles. That's kind of our thing, taking a product that maybe hasn't been innovated or touched in a while and then adding our own flair to it, adding our own, design aesthetic, adding our own flavors, and kind of just adapting the product to Gen Z consumers, which we feel like there's a lot of products out there. Sorry, a lot of products out there that haven't been adapted to this new generation of consumers that care about packaging, care about flavors, care about all those things. And so, yeah, that's kind of the mission with that. And we have an idea for what our next product is going to be, which we can't
Oh,
share yet,
okay.
because we're in the very early stages. But yeah, I think it'll all be in the theme of slight nostalgia, maybe like things you maybe had as a kid that now you don't really eat anymore. And just kind of
I'm in.
elevating some
I'm excited.
classics. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Whatever I'm
we
in.
are coming out with new flavors for the pickles as well. And
Cool.
we are coming out with like an individually packaged version. So that's all coming
Ooh.
soon. You heard it here first.
Ooh, we have an exclusive on the podcast. I love it. I love it. Okay, so thinking of new flavors and also individual packaged.
Yes. And that'll
Okay,
be coming in the next few months. So very soon.
very soon. Okay, cool. What is a piece of advice? I'm really excited about those individual pickles. I'm already thinking of like little picnics. What is some advice you would share with a founder who's in the really early stages? I know founders who really look up to both of you already, like within the first year. Seriously, you guys have done such a great job. Any advice you would share to someone who's like right on the cusp? Maybe they're in that formulation R&D phase. Maybe they're just getting ready to start sharing their journey and putting content out there. What piece of advice would you share with that founder?
Think be adaptable. We had such a clear vision of what we wanted. We had a timeline, we had a plan, and things never go according to plan. Things will go wrong. Not to scare you, but things will go wrong. And it's going to be really stressful. And being adaptable will be the best thing you could possibly do. Just accept things as they come and find solutions, go with it. Things will end up working out. But yeah, just not being so stuck to your plan or to a certain idea, and allowing yourself to be flexible within the journey, I think, is
Yeah.
biggest advice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also to add to that, I would say reach out to as many people as you can, listen to as many podcasts as you can, as many books as you can, whatever it might be, just be a sponge and absorb all the information and all the advice that everyone has to give. In the early stages, Leah and I would reach out to people on LinkedIn that we didn't know, but they had maybe a company that we admired or they did something that we admired, and we would ask them to get on a call with us and we would chat with them and just ask them all kinds of questions and ask them what advice they had for us and things that they did wrong that they wished they had done differently. And in that way, I think we learned so much about what to do and what not to do. But at the same time, not to contradict myself, I think take every advice with a grain of salt, because for us, we've had so many people with amazing companies and with incredible experience telling us to do things one way or another. And sometimes people will contradict each other. And I think it's about being a sponge, listening to everyone, but then at the end of the day, following your gut and following your intuition of what you think will be the best decision for your business, because every business looks different. Every founder has different capabilities and different skills and different ways of doing things. And so, yeah, I think that would be my advice as well.
I think those are really solid piece of advice of being flexible, being adaptable, having a vision, but knowing that the exact path is probably going to change quite a few times,
Yeah.
and listening to the best of from people that you admire, but also staying true to your own unique point of view, what feels
Hmm.
authentic to you as a brand in executing it. And
Yeah.
that is such I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put it in the show notes because that's like a great takeaway for people who are just starting out to think about. Okay, last question, most important question. Where can we shop right now, Hot Girl Pickles?
We're mostly on goodgirlsnacks.com, which is our website. But as we mentioned, we will be restocking in a few locations in New York and Los Angeles, and we'll be in larger retailers around the LA/California region. So stay tuned. And you can follow us on Good Girl Snacks everywhere.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much for sharing so candidly and authentically behind the scenes of Good Girl Snacks. And I know that this is going to be such a valuable episode to so many founders who are in the early stages. And thank you both for creating my personal favorite pickle company. And I'm really excited to try the new formulation.
Thank you
so
so
much for having us.
much.
You're so welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I'll see you next week.